gender and a rejection of heteronormativity, about art, about literature, about freedom through these lenses. One essay, Dualities, surprises me. It is like a study for what will become, 25 years after, my 2018 novel, Theory. I had forgotten that essay. Finally, there are 4 essays on imagination: the racial imagination and Canadian literature, the racial imagination, and the world. These essays outline the serious work and the resistances to that work of thinking beyond the white imagination. A paragraph in one is worth repeating here. Cultural appropriation is not an accusation. It is a critical category. It looks at the location of the text and the author in the world at specific historical moments, moments that give rise to gender, race, class-making, othering, moments rooted in colonial conquest, in slavery, and in economic exploitation. It investigates the positioning of the author within and apart from the text, and within the interaction of the text with colonial discourse, sexist discourse, and racial discourse. It challenges the author's anonymity. It questions the author's interests in the text. It argues that the author is not innocent of the relations of race, gender, sexuality, and class. And it locates the production of the text and the production of the author within practices that give rise to gender, race, class subordination, and colonial subjugation. It proposes that imagery, images, the imagination and representation are deeply ideological in that they suggest ways of thinking about people and the world. The essay goes on to draw attention to dominant discourse, that is, the discourse that has the power to write and overwrite arguments, to bury conflict and name itself neutral and immutable, failing to name an ongoing organizing logic of white supremacy. With these 4 essays, Whose Gaze and Who Speaks for Whom, Imagination, Representation, and Culture, Jazz, and Notes for Writing Through Race, and with the collection as a whole, I had hoped to have an effect on what was the monolingual register of discourses of the social and intellectual. I note with astonishment that we are still here in the same register, but then we are still in the same social. And in fact, globally, we are experiencing a deep backlash to the social justice movements of the last 100 years. This is, of course, an indication of the stakes that the poet Lucille Clifton so aptly writes as, quote, "Every day something has tried to kill me and has failed," unquote. But there is so much dynamic movement and dynamic writing, here in Canada and all over the world, people writing for their lives, addressing climate catastrophe, financialization, white supremacy, gender and racial violence. So I am not pessimistic about the future, or about what writing can do, as witness and as promise. I am grateful to readers who tell me when I meet them that the essays in Bread Out of Stone sustain them, that the essays recognize their experiences and elaborate their thinking and their desires for the cities to be made.